Now the next story I find with ghost stories, the ones that adults really like are the ones that are true, or at least could be. So I have this story, it's called Nix's Mate. And it starts 6 miles out. 6 miles due east from where you are sitting right now. If you went out there, you would find yourself in the open waters of the sea. And if you turned west, you would find yourself at the very beginning or mouth of Boston Harbor. And before you would be a flotilla of islands that make up the harbor islands of Boston. There's Hog Island, Dog Island, George's Island, Long Island, Grape Island, and Nix's Mate. Nix's Mate? That doesn't sound right, does it? That's a strange name, I thought so, don't you? That's a strange name. So I looked up, I did a little research, and I found out 2 possible reasons why this island might be called Nix's Mate. The first reason was it was an old Dutch word meaning Nix's Mot, or Spirit Island. Now the second one is closer to the truth, I think. There was a ship in the 1660s called the Nix'x, and it was destroyed 6 miles out in a terrible storm. The mast was broken, the hull was chopped. The only one to survive was the first mate. And he was washed up on that island. And eventually he was rescued and brought into the mainland of Boston, where he told his story. And no one believed him. Now you must understand, this was the time of the witch trials and the witch hysteria, and pretty much nobody believed anything anybody said. And where were the bodies? Where were the body parts? Now, I have to tell you, from here to Cape Cod, the population was sparse. If a body or a body part washed in, I'm telling you, a wolf or a bear would have said, "Free lunch," and had themselves a ball. And the wood, maybe that would float further down, who knows? But they didn't believe him, and they sentenced him to hang by the neck on that island. So they brought him out to hang on the island. And before he died, he looked out at everyone and he said, "If I be lying, cursed be my body and soul, and I'm off to hell. But if I be telling the truth, the land upon which we stand right now shall one day be swallowed up by the sea." Listen to me words. Did I tell you, Nix's Mate is just a spit of land now, with a beacon to mark it so that other ships won't come in and rip their hull, because most of the island is beneath the water. And you'd think that this was the end of my story, but it's only the beginning. You see, on the heels of the witch hysteria came the scourge of the pirates. Oh yes, we had pirates around here. And there was a man by the name of William Fly. He was out of New Hampshire. Nasty individual. You've heard of, oh, he was a nasty man. But he boarded on his maiden voyage on the ship called the Elizabeth. And he didn't much like taking orders like most pirates. And he got the ear of a few crew members, and they committed mutiny, and they took over the ship. Now, everyone that didn't bend to his will, he beat into submission, and it's based beyond recognition. So pretty much everybody went along with whatever he did. Pirates, as you know, don't have long lives. He captured but 5 ships. On the 5th ship, he was captured and brought into Boston Harbor, and Cotton Mather of the witch trial fame sat in judgment. And he threw himself on the mercy of the court. Now, as you can imagine, the court had no mercy on him. And they sentenced him to die by hanging at the neck until he was dead on Nix's Mate. And his body would be left as a deterrent for the other pirates that decided to come and be the scourge of Boston. And he would be left until the body, his flesh fell from the bones and his eyes were picked clean by the gulls. On the day that he was to be hung, the hangman was new. He was new on the job. Can you imagine? You had to hang William Fly, who had no patience, and he's tying the knot. William Fly was aggravated. And he whispered, and he cackled. And he took the knot, tied it himself, threw it over the scaffolding, tied it up, put himself into the knot, and hung himself. Now, to this day, as you come into Boston Harbor and you pass Nix's mate, they say, and I know this is true because I've heard people that have said this, whether you be on a cruise ship, a cargo ship, or a small motorboat, if you turn your head just a certain way and the wind happens to be blowing in that direction, some people say they hear a whispering noise and a cackle. Now, most people say it's just the wind, but perhaps it could be something else.